Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. So what are we riding today? Well, it's kind of bluish. I don't know what they call this color, blue. It's kind of turquoise, actually. Yeah, it's the Himiway Rambler. Yeah, it is the mid-drive bike. So I decided I better take this out while I can. Keep it moving. Got a lower battery on this one too, just like all the others. So yeah, this is the bike you gotta pedal. Gotta shift, gotta pedal. You know, the interesting part is that when everyone's telling me, oh Russ, you gotta get a mid-drive bike, let us know how it is, tell us what you think about it. And then after I got it and I told you what it was truly like, yeah, I get all these comments that, well, it's a lot tougher than we thought it was going to be. Yeah, you're telling me it is. Yeah, you gotta pedal, you gotta shift and pedal. Takes a little bit of effort. Now, you don't have to get a Rambler that way. You can get a Rambler that has a rear hub motor if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be a mid-drive motor. But yeah, I wanted the mid-drive motor because I wanted to try it, see what I thought of it. And I think after riding it, it's good and all, but you really do need to know how to shift. And if you're really intending to pedal, then of course that would be something that would be worthwhile for you then, right? But as you know, a lot of times I don't pedal, at least when I'm on camera, because I sound winded. Right now I already sound winded. We didn't go that far. I just rode from my home to the area I usually go to, and then I start recording as usual. I'm already winded. Pedaling now. So sometimes I pedal, sometimes I throttle it. But again, I'm still not good enough. I know that the shifting is not as good as it could be. I could be doing better. The display screen is also very small. Cannot really see it at all with my sunglasses. I think I have to do the clear packing tape trip on it too, because I can't really read it very well here. In fact, I can't see it at all. So I'm not going really fast with it. I think I might just throttle the rest of this ride with you guys, because my intention is really to bring the battery down, and the best way to bring it down is just to throttle it. That eats up more battery than pedaling it. Then it won't sound as winded either. So we'll just throttle it. But even on the throttle, when I go to a stop or something, I think I should still lower the gears and then move the gears up, that type of thing. So what's been new? Well, what's been new this weekend? Not a whole lot, really. Not a whole lot. Just been thinking about what our future will be for the coming winter. Now let's turn here. We'll be doing more green screen stuff, of course, when it becomes more difficult to get out. Today is not so bad though. Today is 64 degrees. So I just have my sweatshirt on, a helmet, no liner, long pants. Got my gloves on. I did not forget the gloves this time. Got my sunglasses on. Got my little blinky light on. This is a very low powered blinky light. This was an inexpensive one that Himiway gave me. They have more powerful ones available on that Himizone on Amazon. Or you can use whatever blinky light you have. You know, that is one thing that I think I would like to get. Oh, there's a dead squirrel there. Somebody ran over the squirrel. Yeah, one of our subscribers asked me what would be my ideal bike. I think one of them first asked me which of all of my bikes do I like the best. I get a lot of that question, and I never answer it really because there is no perfect bike or one that I like the best. It really depends on what I'm using it for and where I'm planning on going, what I'm planning to do. Then I'll pick the best bike for that particular trip. So I don't think there's a single bike that I would say fits everything that I like. So it can't really be considered my favorites because there's no real favorite yet. But I would say any of the bikes that are still in the fleet are among my favorites. The ones that have already been sold off obviously would be the ones that I didn't use as often. And so it was best to move those on. But the ones that I use more often, obviously, are probably more of my favorites. So all of the Magicycle bikes, of course, are still with me. And the two Himiways are still here with me. So while the Rambler I don't do as well with yet, I hope still one day that I will. So I keep it, right? And it is the only mid-drive bike that we have. So when it comes to the point where I feel I want to pedal and learn to pedal better, then of course I have the bike to do it with. But if I give it up, then I don't. So all right. So of the bikes that are there, which would be my favorite of the favorites? There's always a question that everyone's trying to tie me down to one bike. I can't really be tied down to one. But I would say that, although not the favorite of everything, and I haven't used it much this year, among them would have to be the Magicycle Cruiser. It was the first one that was given to me for review, and after the modifications, I would have to say the Magicycle Cruiser Pro, because I've changed it to as close to the Pro as possible. The only thing that's not on there is the stronger motor and the hydraulic fork suspension. So, but I would have to say it would be the Cruiser Pro, only because it's a larger bike, and I typically like the larger bikes in general. It's got good power, it's got good ability to get over hills. The price is reasonable for what it is, and yeah, that would be one of my favorites. So I think, I was trying to decide which bike would I take once I deplete the batteries on all the other ones. Depleting meaning dropping it down to about the 70% level for wintertime for storage. And I think it would probably be the Cruiser. I think I will be using the Cruiser more because I didn't get to use it much this year, and I figured, hey, it is a bike that I like being on, and especially now with the suspension seat post on it and a better saddle on it, it feels really nice. So I might ride that one till the end of the season. Either be that or the Deer or the Deer 20, something like that. It will probably be the ones that we'll be taking out more often. All right, let's take the path since we're right next to it. We'll turn right here. So yeah, not a real thing that says that is the favorite of the favorites, but it's one of my more favorite. Let's say that. All right, so weather-wise, not too bad today. I was looking at the weather forecast for the remaining of the week, and there might be some rain on one or two of the days. Last week it didn't show that it was going to rain, but yeah, like I said, it changes at any given moment. And even though they say there might be rain, it might be rain in the evening. We don't know when the rain will be until that day. Then you can kind of look forward one day and see what time they expect the rain to happen. But like today, I waited until after 3 o'clock to go out because the warmest part of the day typically starts at around 3 o'clock in this area at this point. And we want the warmth at this point. We don't want to be in the cold. So we decided to take it out a little bit later in the day. The guy's riding with the little kid on the front with him. So yeah, certain bikes I will take for certain purposes. Like for instance today, you know, I'm not going really fast. I'm going relatively slowly, and I'm throttling it more so than pedaling it. I did pedal up to the point where I turned on the camera at least to get to that point, but yeah, we don't want to sound all out of breath. All right, we're gonna stop here. We got cars coming. So we got a little bit of wind hitting me. It's always the wind that makes you cold. It's not just the ambient temperature itself. Now this one makes it a little bit tougher. The thumb throttle is over on the left-hand side here, and it has a little bit more resistance than some of my half-twist throttles that I put a 3D printed thumb throttle attachment to it. So this tires my thumb out more, this one. Better pedal it then. Yeah, you know, because it's got a tougher spring, pushing it down makes it a little more tiring to push it down and keep it in that level. See, the other ones, you know, because it's like a half twist throttle, but I put that attachment on the side here on the right, I just kind of grab over it and then my thumb just rests on it, or actually the whole fleshy part of my thumb rests on it. And so it's not tiring at all to use it. This, I actually put the edge of my thumb on here because I don't got a whole lot of space here on the left side, see? And it's got some more resistance to it, so it does tire you out more to use the thumb throttle. Now, not all left-hand thumb throttles are like this, just this one has a little bit more springiness to it. And so it makes it tougher to do for long term. Plus this on-off button's in the way. I moved it forward from here. It used to be right up next to it, but might have to move it even more so I can grab this thing better. The only thing is the more further I move it up, then the mirror has to move up, and then you have less of a clearance because of your shoulder. Your shoulder will be seen in the mirror more then. The thing is, you have to adjust bikes according to how it works best for you. I noticed too here, it looks like they just recently put some of this tar stuff over to cover up the cracks in the path. You don't want to run that stuff over because it'll just cake it up on your bike tires, especially when it's fresh like this. And it's kind of hard to avoid it, and there's so much of it. It's like all over the place here. Yeah, I gotta get off of this path. This path is terrible now because of it. So I'm kind of dodging it now. Looking for where they painted it and then trying my best to dodge it, because if I go over that stuff, I'm gonna track it back into the house. Somebody asked me, where do I store all these bikes and stuff? Yeah, I mentioned before in the past, they're all stored in the house. They're in the living room. Most of them are in the living room. We don't have a living room anymore. It's called the bike garage now. Yeah, it's out of control. So yeah, you don't want to be tracking that in. But see, some of it goes horizontally, so you're gonna run over it. I got no choice. Terrible. Yeah, I'm trying my best to avoid as much of it. You know, you go down the rut of it, and then it's gonna do it. I could see some bike tire things over some of them already. So yeah, I don't want to track that stuff into houses. It's terrible. All right, I'll have to hit her with the bell, let her know that we're coming. All right, that was tough being on that. Trying to dodge that stuff. I mean, I ran over a bunch of it, but Want to dodge most of it. Now they do that with the streets too, but man, that was tough. Yeah, because it's narrow, right? It's narrow, and then it's painted over, so dodging is not that easy to do. So how is this Rambler doing overall? Overall, I would say it's a nice bike. Yeah. You just got to get used to looking at the Halloween displays again. You just got to get used to shifting and pedaling. The key is to pedal, stop pedaling, shift it. Like if I was to shift down, just stop pedaling and let it do its own thing. If I'm going to shift up, stop pedaling, let it move itself up. And the reason it moves by itself is because the mid-drive runs the whole thing through the chain, and the momentum of it's going to keep moving. That whole chain ring will just keep moving as you shift, so you don't even really have to pedal it. Just stop pedaling and let it let it shift itself, and it'll shift itself down or shift itself up according to how you do it. But again, I'm still trying to get better at this. The key is don't pedal hard during the shift. You don't want to be stripping anything. Move this camera again. This camera tends to tilt when it sits on my chest. I don't know why. Like it never really stays level on my chest. What time is it? 3:34. Yeah, I decided to take the always on function on the iPhone off. I was noticing, I says, battery goes down overnight. I charged it up just before going to sleep, woke up 15% down. That's from that always on. And I took off the photo part of it, so it only showed the clock function. But even just having that clock function on all the time at a dim level like that, by the time I wake up in the morning, 15% of the battery is down already. So to me, it's not worth having it on and losing 15% of your power. You're sleeping anyways, you're not watching it. So I says, if I ever need to see what time it is, I could always just hit the button and see what time it is, right? So it's 3:35 right now. I will tell you that lately I've been very thirsty. I've been drinking water like left and right. Things have just been drying me out for some reason. I think it's just the winter time too. I drink a lot of water. I end up having to go to the washroom all the time because I am drinking tons of water. They say you should have at least 8 cups of water. I bet you I have a lot more than that. Yeah, I'll take some now. I'm drying out again. Hold on. Yeah, I always put the water bottle cage to the opposite side of where the throttle is. This way I can throttle and drink if I have to. Keeps the bike moving while I'm drinking the water. So since the throttle's on my left-hand side, bottle cage will be on my right-hand side. And bikes that have it the other way, the bottle cage will be on the other side. See, that's how I do it. We have had some people ask recently how noisy my motors are, because they're trying to determine if their bikes are noisy. I'm going to take a right. There's too many cars coming out. I think it's the schools are letting out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every bike has a certain amount of motor noise. Every one of them has a certain amount of motor noise. Some have more than others. And does that mean there's something wrong with the motor? It may not necessarily be. It could be that's the sound of that motor. Okay. So, like for instance, the Traxxas Lynx that we recently sold, it had a fairly loud motor. One of the other guys has told me that he had the Traxxas Lynx too, and he thought it had a loud motor, but over time, that motor noise seemed to have gone down a little bit for him. So I don't know what to say in that regards, but there's nothing wrong with that motor. See, the whole thing is that is just the sound of that motor. So you can't really say it's you know, it's no good or anything like that, because it's just the sound of that motor. Other bikes have lower volume levels of motor. So they asked me what was the lowest volume level, and that would have to be the Magicycle commuter bike. That one had a 350 watt motor on it. It's a single speed, it's a belt drive, so you don't even hear the clicking from a derailleur. You don't hear anything. I mean, that bike is like dead silent. I'm not kidding, it's almost like dead silent. You don't hear anything out of that thing. It's the most stealthiest bike I have, but it's a single speed. It's a class 1, it's a belt drive. So there's pros and cons for everything, and I think what else would be a fairly quiet bike? The Velotric T1 was fairly quiet as well. Again, class 1, single speed. Oh no, that one has multiple speeds. It has a derailleur on it, sorry. That one was a see, here again, it's the memory thing. Not a cadence sensor, the other sensor. What's it called? I'll give it time, it'll come to me again. Watch. Torque sensor. I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, this is what happens with my memory. It literally goes away. I'm thinking about it, give it about 20-30 seconds, it'll come to me. It's a torque sensor. This thing is clinking because it's trying to do more than I'm giving it here. All right, try that. Have to shift out of that thing. So yeah, sometimes some bikes are just noisier than others. It's just the way it is, I guess. But if you feel that your bike is not right, you know, it doesn't hurt to contact manufacturers to ask them. The thing is, I don't think they know what to answer either, to tell you the truth. They don't know how loud you're saying is considered loud. They don't hear anything. They have nothing to diagnose it with. So all they could do is guess at it too, just like when you ask me, I guess at it. The thing is, I don't know all the answers on these things either. I'm just a guy who has a bike and reviews the other bikes. The only thing I have over you is I have experience over multiple bikes. But I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. Like, for instance, they asked me if my bike is doing that sound, or my bike is doing this or doing that compared to theirs. That's the only one I could probably answer, because then I could say, well, mine's does it, or mine's doesn't seem to do that. Or sometimes if you ask me, I don't know the answer, because I may not have taken that bike out looking for that specific problem. I won't know the answer to it until I do it again and then look for it, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Not about bikes, but I mentioned that Mrs. Wright's car went in recently for some repairs, and he had some major repairs that they had to do. And so what it was doing, that we noticed that, and we wouldn't notice this until about 7 to 10 minutes into a drive. I gotta lower this thing here. It would all of a sudden start making whining sounds out of the back end of things. And so we recorded it, actually. I had my daughter record it with her phone. All right, I think we're gonna have to turn here. And all these cars are here. So I gave the audio file to the repair tech guy, and so they tested over it. They couldn't replicate it. However, they did find other issues with the car, with the brakes and everything. So we had no choice. We had to get it fixed. And they said that maybe this is what's causing the whining sound. And I think it was, because after they fixed it and we got the car back, yeah, we don't notice it anymore. So I think it was, but they couldn't get it to replicate when they were test driving it. Although I don't think they test drove it long enough. I think they needed to test drive it longer to get it to work. That's why they couldn't get it to happen. Because it takes 7 to 10 minutes. And based on the mileage of the odometer, when I took a look at, when I left it to them and when I got it back, they only drove it 4 or 5 miles. That's not enough time to get that thing to kick in. So even though you tell them you got to drive it for this much time to get that to happen, they don't do it. They don't have time to do that, so they just see what's underneath, and sure enough, they saw problems with the brakes were seizing and everything. So that was causing it to whine, I think. So yeah, they fixed the problem. They just couldn't replicate it. Way too many cars here. I should have turned before all this. I'm gonna be stuck behind all these cars now. Yeah, okay, we're gonna go to the side here. The reason I go to the side is because I can put my foot up on the curb, and because I could put my foot up on the curb, I don't have to hop off of the saddle. Because I have the saddle pretty high up, as you know. Yeah, they're stopping all this because they're letting cars out of the high school that's there. Okay. Hey, I gave the cop a little wave. He waved back really quickly while driving to direct traffic. The thing is, these cops tend to know me because they see me around all the time. I'm always riding around the general area. Let's go down this way. So anyway, Alright, I'm going to make my turn. I gave the hand signal just so that he knew that I was going to turn in front of him. So, yeah, sometimes people hear things, sometimes they don't hear it. Those guys didn't do it long enough to hear it. So when you ask me, hey, is your motor making noise, or is your bike doing this? Sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. Still, even if I say it doesn't do it to mine, doesn't mean that, you know, that's right or wrong, or mine does this and yours doesn't. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong either. So I could just give you what my experience is. That's about it. Oh, and by the way, too, I don't work for these companies, all right? I don't always have the ability to talk to them on your behalf, so don't ask me to do that, because sometimes I can't. Sometimes you build good relationships too with manufacturers, but even so, the manufacturers change representatives that represent them to you. Like, for instance, Magicycle, you know, I've gone through like 4 different people now who handle my account. So, you know, just when you think you're building a relationship with somebody that can do stuff for you or help you do things, then they put another person on to replace that person. So they got to start all over again, which is what's happening right now. I have a fairly new person handling my account. I don't hear from her as much as I heard from the others before in the past. So I don't know if does that make it tougher now to deal with Magicycle, or is it, or what, you know? Because really, that's your only contact person. Whoever they put in charge of your account, that's your contact person to the company. And so if they don't contact you as often as the other guy, I don't know what's happening. So, and that's not really for typical YouTubers. That's not typically something they really have to do. Most often, all they do is they just tell you, do you want to take this bike on or not take this bike on? Dogs trying to get me, as they usually do. But I don't hear that much from the current person, so I don't really have any relationship with Magicycle at this point, because the other people are either gone or in different positions now. So it changes, you know, based on whoever's helping you out at the time. Right now, I don't have that much contact with the new person. So if you ask me any questions of things for Magicycle, can't guarantee I can even help you, because I can't even get them to help me. All right, they help me on some stuff, but not everything. So some things I have to remind them. Hey, what about this? Oh yeah, okay. All right, anyways, that's about all I wanted to talk about. I didn't really have that much to say. I'm gonna run into these cars again. I just made a circle. Now I got all the cars to deal with. I gotta turn around. To go through that stuff again would be a pain in the butt. Get this car to turn around here and I'm gonna change my position. Let me just hop along and change my position here. Gotta get away from those cars. Alright, anyways. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button too if you haven't already done so. More riding videos to come. I gotta bring down a lot of batteries still. I was looking at the roster of how many batteries still need to be dropped down, and there's quite a few of them. So more riding videos to come. Talk to you guys next time.